are building AI ecosystem that is linked to all the sources, international and local, all the legislation that we have it on the federal level and local level. It is linked to the social media. So whenever people, our stakeholders, talk about any challenge they have, the system itself will alert the government. People are talking about that challenge, and in specific, they are looking about that clause or that article in that law. We want to reach to that level of integration AI in our ecosystem.
How is the UAE balancing this approach to innovation and regulation in the AI race?
In the UAE, we look to the regulation as a friend. The same thing, we also look to it when it risks becoming a foe. Our leadership was having a clear vision. You should look to the regulation not only as a friend. Actually, it should be a trusted partner in your journey. The UAE founding father, the late Sheikh Zayed, once he said, our goal is to ensure justice in our journey and in our community and uphold what is right. And that's become our compass. And that's why we look to the regulation not as a barrier. However, we look to the regulation as a bridge to progress, a prosperity, and justice, the same thing. However, you can look to the regulation also as a barrier or a friend. It depends on how you deal with it. When the regulation can be a friend, actually, whenever it is clear, when it is transparent, when it is adapted by design, and the same thing, it has a global perspective. And let me, Dan, give you some clearance about this one. Emerging technology from the AI to quantum computing is moving very fast. And it will not wait for your laws and regulation systems to catch up. And that's why we have to plan earlier to this one. And that's why we scan the horizon. We see the new emerging technologies. We see also the investment flow, stock market changes, the policy makers shift, and all the opportunities and risk that we can see it. And based on that one, we build flexibility in our legislation system so it can adapt and at the same time will not expire. We have learned from our journey that adaptive regulations always will be relevant and always will keep the trust in your system alive. And this is how we are working, and that's why clarity is very important in our ecosystem. That's why we co-design our regulations with all our stakeholders, whether they are academians, NGOs, business, government, startup. So they are part of our ecosystem that we are building in the UAE.
Who should essentially be leading on these guardrails now? Is it governments? Is it companies? Or should it be a shared model overall? Your Excellency, do you want to speak to that first?
I think it is something you have to look to it as co-design between all the stakeholders. It's not one. It's not only the government. It was an old statements when we say the government will do the legislations. It's not anymore adaptable for this region. We have to work with all our stakeholders. We have to work to understand, to listen to them. And that's why we revamp our legislations. If you don't do that ecosystem in your country, the people will not stay because the global is moving around and the changes in different, the technology, the concepts, the policies are being evolving everywhere in the world. That's why you need to build that ecosystem that is adaptable to all the changes around you and bring everyone with you. And that's why in the UAE, we have a platform where all our legislations inside it. It is, you can access to it more than 30 languages. You can search for anything. This is to ensure that our legislation ecosystem is very transparent to the whole people are living in the UAE. Any comments they have on any legislations, any challenges they have it, they can immediately feed back the government and we consider it. 90% of the requirements of our stakeholders in the UAE has been considered in the revamp of our legislation ecosystem. And this is how we keep ourselves relevant, up to date with the emerging technologies, the whole world around us in the world. The other thing that we are working with the WIF now to build a project called GRIP, which is a global regulatory innovation platform where we invite all the countries to put their practices, to their experiences inside this platform. We dialogue together, and the same thing we have also to assess our readiness to build that ecosystem that will help the UAE and the other countries, not only us, to have an ecosystem that is relevant to everyone. And this is actually what is happening in the UAE. I will give you more example, Dan, if you allow me, how we interpret AI in the legislations in the UAE, if I have enough time and you don't have other questions. Late this year, the UAE government have launched the first project for how to introduce AI in the legislation ecosystem. And when we do that one, actually, the first thing that comes to the mind of everyone, well, ChatGPT now can draft any law. ChatGPT, if you give him the right prompts, it will go, and it has all the link to all the international trends and sources. It will bring for you the best law that you want. Is it relevant or not relevant? Whatever we are thinking in the AI project in the UAE, in our legislation ecosystem, is not how to draft legislations. It's not anymore a challenge in the UAE. Anyone can do that one. AI can do that one. Actually, we are building an AI ecosystem that is linked to all the sources, international and local, all the legislation that we have it on the federal level and in the local level. It is linked to the social media. So whenever people, our stakeholders, talk about any challenge they have, the system itself will alert the government. People are talking about that challenge, and in specific, they are looking about that clause or that article in that law. We want to reach to that level of integration AI in our ecosystem. It will link to the services that we are providing to our customers. For example, if you are granting any license to any investor, and the people in the front line, they're asking more requirements. And the law doesn't say that one, okay? So we are knowing that the people at the implementation of the law in the field is not exactly what is in the law. We need that AI tool to detect for us, based on the international trend, if there is any duplicate in our law, if there is any article which is outdated. So it will tell us. If we did any change in any law, the AI tool will tell us, because it is like cohesive system, will tell us, if you did that change in that article, you have to always remember that that article is linked to this article in different laws. So when you do the change in this law, you have to do the changes in the other law. So it will keep us always updated. This is how we look to the AI in legislation in the UAE. We want it to be real live feedback from our stakeholders, and the same thing to measure for us the impact of our regulations in the UAE.
And what is your answer to the question of what's keeping you awake at night right now?
Actually, nothing. Who knows me? He knows that I'm a very risk-taker person. However, I might agree on the perspective of using AI, especially in the education, and maybe our students at a stage will lose their innovation and talent. However, we should be, as a countries, ready for the AI. AI is coming. We have to be ready for it. And that's why the good approach of each country is to put all the precautions of how to use AI. AI, at the end of the day, is very powerful tool that it will save a lot of our times in searching a lot of data. Use it, but we have to make the balance, okay? And the same thing, we have to move gradually. So we need to put human in command of the AI, especially at the early stages. And think from now, all the countries that are using AI, like Charles was saying, that what are the opportunities for our people to find other jobs whenever the AI will take some of our jobs. And this is all the plans of any countries. And this is actually what UAE is doing. In the Ministry of Education, they are doing a lot of efforts of how to introduce AI, okay, in the school, but the same thing, not to lose the talent of our children at the same time.